They weren't just built, they were obsessions. Born in boardrooms, perfected in wind tunnels, and pushed beyond sanity. Forged from titanium, carbon fiber, and sheer ego, these machines weren't made for the masses, they were made to prove a point. From luxury sedans packed with tech no one asked for, to hypercars that broke the laws of physics just because they could. These are the cars that made engineers lose sleep and accountants panic. Some came decades too early. Others, we still haven't caught up, and one of them actually made a Rolls-Royce feel underbuilt. This is Regal Rides, and these are the 10 insanely over-engineered cars you won't believe exist. You've never seen excess like this. Number 1, Porsche 959, a supercar from the future. Built in the 80s. In the 1980s, most supercars were wild and fast, but also raw and dangerous. Then came the Porsche 959 in 1986, a car so advanced, it felt like it came from another decade. Porsche originally built the 959 to compete in Group B rally racing, but the car they ended up creating went far beyond motorsport. It was the first production supercar with an all-wheel drive system, something rare at the time, and almost unheard of in performance cars. That system wasn't simple either. It was electronically controlled and constantly adjusted how power was sent to each wheel, improving grip and control at any speed. Under the hood was a 2.85-litre twin-turbo flat-six engine, producing 450 horsepower, enough to hit 97 miles per hour, making it the fastest street-legal car in the world at the time. But the real magic was in the engineering. The 959 had active suspension, tire pressure monitoring, lightweight Kevlar body panels, and an aerodynamic design that adjusted for speed. It even had a built-in computer to monitor key systems, something unheard of in the 1980s. Porsche lost money on every 959 they sold. Why? Because it wasn't built for profit. It was built to prove what Porsche could do if money didn't matter. While the 959 looked toward the future, one Japanese carmaker would later build a supercar that not only sounded like a Formula One car, it was tuned by Yamaha to sing like one. Number 2, Mercedes-Benz S-Class W140, built like a bank vault. In the late 1980s, Mercedes-Benz had one goal: to build the most advanced luxury car in the world, no matter the cost. The result was the W140 S-Class, launched in 1991. But this wasn't just a car. It was a statement of engineering obsession. Mercedes spent over $1 billion on its development, an enormous amount at the time. Engineers delayed the launch by years to perfect every detail. The result? A sedan so solid, people called it a tank in a tuxedo. The W140 had double-glazed windows to block outside noise, soft closed doors that gently pulled themselves shut, power-assisted trunk, self-lowering side mirrors at parking speeds, even antenna-like guide rods that popped up to help drivers park. All in the early 90s, the car was packed with luxury, but the engineering went far beyond comfort. Its air suspension, climate control, and safety systems were years ahead of competitors. The engine bay was so tightly packed, mechanics had to remove parts just to access others. Everything was built to last and to impress. But this perfection came with a price. The W140 was heavy, expensive, and costly to maintain. Still, it became the car of choice for world leaders and CEOs. And while Mercedes built a fortress of precision, another car was being born that didn't care about comfort, it only cared about speed. Number 3, Bugatti Veyron, engineering that broke the rules. When Bugatti set out to create the Veyron, they didn't just want a fast car. They wanted the fastest car in the world, and they weren't going to stop until they made it real. What followed was one of the most complex and over-engineered vehicles ever built. Launched in 2005, the Bugatti Veyron featured an 8.0-litre W16 engine with 4 turbochargers, producing a mind-blowing 1,001 horsepower. It could hit 253 miles per hour, making it the fastest production car on the planet at the time. But speed wasn't the only story. The engineering challenges were enormous. At top speed, the Veyron burned through a full tank in 12 minutes. The brakes were carbon ceramic and the tires were specially developed by Michelin, each one costing over $10,000 and rated to survive speeds no other road car could reach. Cooling the car took 10 radiators. Yes, 10. Including separate ones for the engine, turbochargers, oil, and even the air conditioning. The transmission was a 7-speed dual-clutch system so complex it took weeks to build. Even the key system was overbuilt. To unlock top speed mode, the driver had to insert a second key to lower the car, retract the rear spoiler, and adjust the suspension. The Veyron didn't just break records, it broke the rules of what a car could be. But while Bugatti was chasing speed records, over in Germany, a different brand was quietly building a supercar that looked like a Porsche, but thought like a spaceship. Number 4, Cadillac 16, the American dream on steroids. In 2003, Cadillac built something that didn't just turn heads, it left people speechless. It was called the Cadillac 16, and it packed something almost no modern car had ever seen, a 13.6-liter V16 engine, producing 1,000 horsepower, with no turbochargers or superchargers, just pure raw engineering. This wasn't some wild race car, it was a luxury sedan, nearly 20 feet long. This machine was wrapped in sleek metal, dressed inside with hand-cut leather, real wood trim, and even crystal glass details. Cadillac didn't build it to sell. They built it to prove a point that American luxury could still dream big. One of its most surprising features, despite all that power, it came with a cylinder deactivation system. At cruising speeds, it could shut off 12 of its 16 cylinders to save fuel, something unheard of at the time. The 16 never went into production, but it inspired Cadillac's future design and reminded the world that engineering isn't just about practicality. Sometimes, it's about imagination. And while the 16 was dreaming big, over in Germany, Mercedes-Benz was obsessing over every tiny detail. Up next, the Lexus LFA, a car so precisely built, even its engine note was engineered like a musical instrument. The Lexus LFA wasn't just a supercar, it was a masterpiece of Japanese engineering. Launched in 2010 after nearly a decade of development, it stunned the world. Lexus, known mostly for luxury sedans, created a car that could compete with Ferrari and Lamborghini, and in some ways beat them. At its heart was a 4.8-liter V10 engine, co-developed with Yamaha, but not just for performance. Yamaha's job was to tune the engine sound, and the result was breathtaking. The LFA's exhaust note was described as a mechanical symphony, often compared to a Formula One car. In fact, the engine revved so fast from idle to redline in just 0.6 seconds that a digital tachometer had to be used because a traditional needle couldn't keep up. The body wasn't made from aluminum or steel, it was built from carbon fiber reinforced plastic (CFRP), mostly handcrafted in a special facility by Lexus. This made the LFA incredibly light yet strong. The engineering was so precise that even the exhaust system was made from titanium, just to get the perfect sound and weight balance. Only 500 units were ever made, and Lexus reportedly lost money on each one. But for Lexus, the LFA wasn't about profit. It was about showing the world what they could do when every detail mattered. Number 6, 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car. Jet-powered madness on American roads. In the 1960s, Chrysler didn't just want to build a better engine. They wanted to redefine the engine itself. So they created the turbine car, powered not by a piston engine, but by a jet turbine, like a fighter plane. Yes, this was a street-legal, production-ready car that ran on jet fuel, kerosene, diesel, even perfume or tequila. Chrysler's engineers had one goal: eliminate all the parts that made regular engines noisy, messy, and high maintenance. The turbine engine had only 60 moving parts, never needed oil changes, and could idle at 22,000 RPM without breaking a sweat. It started in any weather, had no radiator, and was nearly maintenance-free. On paper, it was perfect. The interior matched the futuristic vibe: aircraft-inspired gauges, brushed metal dash, and a deep jet-like whine when the engine fired up. Chrysler even hand-built 55 turbine cars and loaned them to families across America for real-world testing. But here's the twist: despite decades of R&D and millions invested, the car never made it to full production. Why? Emissions challenges, rising fuel concerns, and political pressure shut the program down. Only 9 of the original 55 survive today, all silent, all priceless. The turbine car wasn't just over-engineered, it was a bold vision of a future that never came. Number 7, RollsRoyce Kamag. Luxury taken to unusual extremes. The RollsRoyce Kamag, launched in 1975, wasn't just about wealth, it was about engineering decisions that puzzled even the rich. It was the most expensive production car in the world at the time, yet it looked nothing like a typical Rolls-Royce. Designed by Pininfarina in Italy, it featured a sharp, square shape that shocked traditional buyers. But what made the Kamag truly over-engineered was hidden under the skin. It had the world's first automatic dual-level climate control system, something unheard of in the 1970s. This system took 8 years to develop and could adjust airflow and temperature independently for each part of the cabin. Every Kamag was built by hand, and its 6.75-liter V8 engine was tuned for smoothness over speed. Even though it weighed over 2 tons, it delivered a quiet, effortless ride that felt like floating on air. The attention to detail was extreme. Some components were custom-made just for the Kamag and never used again. But despite its engineering, the Kamag confused the public. Its design wasn't widely loved, and its price tag made people question its value. Still, it stands as a rare example of a car built without compromise, a machine where engineering pride overshadowed practicality. Next we explore a Japanese oddball so strange it's still debated today. Number 8. Mitsuoka Orochi, Japan's most bizarre supercar. The Mitsuoka Orochi is one of the strangest and most over-engineered cars to ever come out of Japan. Introduced in 2006, it was based on the Honda NSX platform but looked like something from a science fiction movie. With its wild curves, bug-eye headlights and fish-like mouth, many called it the ugliest supercar ever made. But behind the design was a surprisingly deep level of engineering. Mitsuoka didn't just want to build a car, they wanted to build a statement. Each Orochi was handcrafted, and only around 400 units were ever made. The body panels were made from lightweight composite materials, and the suspension was tuned for smooth road performance, not racing. It had a 3.3-liter Toyota V6 engine, which wasn't super powerful, but was reliable and refined. The real over-engineering came from how much thought went into design features that served no performance benefit, like overly complex body lines, unique mirrors, and a luxury interior filled with custom parts that cost a fortune to make in such small numbers. Mitsuoka poured time and money into making the Orochi different, not faster. While the Orochi confused most car fans, it became a cult favorite in Japan, even appearing in anime and video games. It remains a bold reminder that engineering isn't always about speed. Sometimes it's about pure imagination. Number 9. Buick Centurion, 1956, the jet-age dream on wheels. In the wild era of 1950s optimism and space-age obsession, Buick unveiled something straight out of a sci-fi movie, the 1956 Buick Centurion concept. And it wasn't just a pretty face, it was decades ahead of its time. First, that bubble-top roof, made entirely of curved plexiglass, gave the Centurion a panoramic jet cockpit look. But it wasn't just style. Buick added a rear-mounted camera system instead of a rear-view mirror. In 1956, the image was displayed on a screen inside the dashboard, a futuristic touch no one had seen before. The dashboard itself was like a spaceship, full of sweeping lines, chrome trim, and a giant television screen display. It also featured a flight-inspired yoke steering wheel, push-button transmission, and power everything, windows, seats, and even antenna. The car was designed with radar and aerospace themes in mind, not for production, but to show how far GM could dream and build. Although the Centurion never hit the streets, it laid the foundation for future innovation and remains a glowing example of 1950s over-engineering and imagination on overdrive. Number 10. Cadillac Eldorado Brougham, 1957, the space-age luxury lab on wheels. Before Mercedes had Maybach, and before Rolls-Royce got digital, Cadillac launched something so bold, it had suicide rear doors, a brushed stainless steel roof, and interior materials that ranged from mouton fur carpeting to real walnut trim. The glove box came stocked with a vanity kit for ladies, including lipstick, a mirror, a comb, and even cologne. But the engineering went too far. The air suspension, infamously unreliable. The electronics, finicky. Maintenance, a nightmare. Still, the Eldorado Brougham remains an icon, not just for its beauty, but for how it represented a time when Cadillac dared to challenge not just its competitors, but the very limits of what a car could be. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into the world's most fascinating cars. Your support helps us bring more real, story-driven content to car lovers like you. And now tell us in the comments, which of these over-engineered machines blew your mind the most? We read every comment, and we'd love to hear from you.